So, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everyone, on this new series in 2021. We welcome all of you to take your time to attend this webinar. So, we're starting this series again. We left off sometime in November last year with the last webinar. But this is going to be the first interesting webinar that we are going to start off this year. And it starts with one of the unique situations that we see with some of our clients, not just for video-related work, but it is also relevant in general for generally right-to-left languages, which pose significant challenges when it comes to translating them and when it needs to be integrated into different platforms, whether it is for video, e-learning, or things like DTP and stuff like that. Sometimes you require special tools to do it. Sometimes you need special techniques, things like that. So today we are going to dig into our topic where we are going to look at what are the basic challenges we face with right-to-left languages, a little bit of the background we start with. We'll also show you some a nice application tools that we are using internally and how we are tackling this problem without much issues, and it kind of cuts down our time, and we are able to provide customers with a good solution all the time consistently. So with that, I would like to also introduce and welcome my co-host Arvan here, who represents and is the CEO of Media One International, our partner company, who provides the technology platform for our media localization projects. And together we bring an integrated and world-class solution to our customers when it comes to media localization projects. Welcome, Arvan.
Thank you. Welcome, Diraj, and good afternoon and good day to all.
So as you can see, we are CEOs individually of each of these companies. You can read more about us on our website. I don't want to spend too much time in this webinar introducing ourselves. I'll jump directly into the topic and introduce you to what we are trying to get across to you today. So what we are trying to get across to you today is a little bit on the general transcription challenges that are there in transcription projects. And more relevant to the topic is the fact that when you go for right-to-left languages, what would be the advanced challenges apart from the general ones. And then we will see specifically when it comes to right-to-left languages, what are the challenges in transcription as well as video subtitling. So here what we are trying to do is when it comes to video localization projects, generally there are three different types of work that we do. One is transcription, which is actually whatever is spoken on the video is actually creating a transcript in the same language, sometimes for closed captioning purposes, but sometimes it is created in form of a file that you need to export out like an SRT file, which is further translated for subtitling purposes. So depending on what your situation is, transcription is an important part of the video translation projects. Then once the transcription is done, the other normally other task is actually translating the transcript, which would appear as a subtitle. So if it's a English video and you want to bring it out into German, Arabic, whatever, you can choose the language what appears on the video. Now even within that, there are two different situations. You could export a file like an SRT file, DFXP file. There are many formats which you can export. But sometimes for broadcast purposes or for different purposes, maybe sometimes I've heard in e-learning LMSs and tools, you can't actually run SRT files many times, and you have to have embedded subtitles within the video itself. And the reason for that is that sometimes you need to be sure that the message is getting across correctly instead of just getting a situation that the half work is done. So we would look at a situation where the last part is actually we would share some of the actual screenshot and the tool in action, how it really looks like. So we dive into this topic now. So to start the introduction, there are actually 12 languages which are right to left. So as you can see on screen, these are the 12 languages. And majorly, if you look at, in my experience, the biggest amount of work that we usually do is in Arabic, Hebrew, Urdu, and Persian. These are the main languages that we get to do. But you may have a situation that you are doing one of the other languages also. Practically all of these languages have right to left scripts. But sometimes you could have even specific fonts which are also used differently. So even the choice of the font would matter sometimes. Now, like I mentioned, I'll get a little bit deeper into how we are going about this topic. So when we look at transcription as a job work, one of the things that is important to understand is that almost all of the work that is today done to save time and to create quick turnaround times, there is a technology which is used called ASR, automatic speech recognition. So all the online tools that you see that provide as a platform, you need to upload a video file and they would be using some form of an ASR to give you an automated transcript. The thing is that if you need high quality work, then only using an ASR may not give you the requisite quality. Almost all the time, almost I would say 99% of the time, you would need to include post-editing after ASR because you need to even adjust the time, starting and ending time, anytime the ASR cannot pick up words, things like that. So we're going to look at some of that. Then we are going to, as I mentioned, look into an example of subtitling from English into, and we are in today's example, we are using Arabic. And then we will have, of course, subtitling from right to left to other languages. So for example, like I mentioned, for transcription, you use ASR, but MT is used to do the subtitling in other languages. Same thing, however, requires to be noted as a comment that when you use MT or automatic translation of subtitles, you do almost always need a human post-editing stage to get into the quality parameters of the end product. You rarely will have a situation that the automated subtitle will be almost 100% correct. So it's the same thing which will apply. But what does happen by using technology, whether it is for transcription or for subtitling, automated subtitling translation, you will actually save at least 30% time in creating first the file itself with the start and end timestamping. The timestamp is generally works very well. I would say almost 90-95% of the time, the timestamps works perfectly well. And even the translated content, if it's a good engine and you're training it over a period of time, the quality consistently keeps getting improved. So that's what we are looking at. So what are really the general transcription challenges? And this is very important because when you're dealing with your clients for these kind of projects, it will affect ultimately, if you don't take care of these factors during transcription, it will ultimately affect your pricing. it is going to affect your turnaround times, and it's also going to affect the quality of your work. What are these? So if you've got poor audio quality, then the ASR is not going to pick up very well, and many times you will have to put in more manual effort to actually either make the corrections, or in fact sometimes the ASR may not work at all. So you will end up doing everything completely manually. So it's very important to understand what is the original source of file quality. The same problem, almost similar problem, can come if it's a distant speaker. And sometimes we have interviews where the microphone has been kept slightly away, or the speaker is speaking at a distance, and the volume levels are not adequate. And in spite of re-engineering and doing something, when you amplify the overall volume, the noise also amplifies with the overall video. So that can create again a problem. Sound distortion. Sometimes you don't have good quality equipment, or the environment is not ideal, so there will be voice distortion. Again, ASR would work very well in those cases. And sometimes even humans may not be able to listen to it very well.
If I can, Biraj, if I can just add a few words on ASR. When you say 30%, it's really the minimum.
Yes.
It can be with a good video, with good audio quality, good voice recording, it can be up to 95%. It's pretty amazing, the improvement in the automation. And the two time-consuming tasks, it's to transcript and then to do the alignment of the subtitles, the time coding, time code out. On those two tasks, automation is saving, on the average, I would say 60, 70%.
Yeah. It's at least 30%, anything more than 30% at any point of time, of course. And I agree with you that I just wanted to make sure that the audience are not overwhelmed by hearing 90%. They'll say, these guys are lying. So I just want to make it more real for them that at least 30%, of course, we see much more productivity coming out, especially in the phase of where it requires transcription. It is extremely, productive in those cases.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Avar. So going forward, distortion was one of them. And then ambient noise. One of the things that ASR technology hasn't been able to figure out yet, a lot of cases, is when you have background noise. So if you're not in an ideal voice situation, you are traveling in a public transport, or you're standing outside, or even in movies where there are background music, the ASR is not going to work in an ideal situation. So better know what your source file is. If it is possible, ask for a small sample from your customer before you quote or start working on this project, because 99% of the times, if you haven't seen the sample, there will be a variation ultimately when you start doing the project, and later on it's going to cause problems in project management. So this is very important to understand in case of transcription. When it comes to actually our case where we are talking about Arabic and right to left languages, one of the things which a lot of people don't know is Arabic, just as an example, has so many dialects. And I've just put in a few names here. You can have a dialect for Bahrain, you can have Saudi Arabia, you can have Lebanon, Morocco, Qatar, Egypt, God knows how many. I think there are some 20 odd dialects just in Arabic. The same thing is for Urdu. So you have the Indian version of Urdu, and then you have the Pakistan version of Urdu, and both are slightly distinct because the Pakistan version of Urdu has a lot of Punjabi accent included in it. And therefore, even if you are using a common ASR, then at the post-editing stage, you will have to make sure that the human editing, that post-editing that you are doing, make sure it is the person of the target language that you ultimately require it to be. Otherwise, you may end up bringing out an output which is not in that particular dialect. So it's extremely important for the ASR, as far as possible, to be specific to that dialect also. Sometimes you may not find specific to a particular dialect, and you may like to do a neutral version. But in that case, you have to make sure that you do a short sample to figure out whether it works for you. And if it does work for you, then make sure that the person who's actually doing the post-editing is and does belong to that particular locale. So that's about the specifics of the dialects in right to left this thing. When it comes to subtitling, one of the things that you have to first initially understand that generally for right to left languages, the text length when it comes translated is generally longer, and it could be 15 to 30% longer in general. So you cannot really try and fit the same text that is translated for that particular segment in the same area or whatever. So you have to make sure that you have tools and technologies either which can do an automated layouting and adjustment of these lengths. If you do this manually in a certain tool, it's going to be more expensive and it's going to take more time, and your customer may not be happy giving you that kind of time. And this is one thing that the MediaWin Hub has solved very well. You can actually have different types of backgrounds, you can have different colors of fonts, and the automatic adjustment can be also decided from the very beginning. And the output that comes out, you don't have to actually manually worry about all of this stuff. So that's something that it automatically solves for us. You don't have to manually take care of these issues. But this is a critical issue when it comes to right to left languages, the length. Then you have font rendering issues. Sometimes when you need embedded subtitling files to be exported, not SRT files, but within the video you need them embedded. If your tool does not support right to left languages correctly, then you will have fonts which will break down in different cases. And ultimately what has happened, will lose time, and there are obviously quality problems and stuff like that. So make sure that your tool actually does support font rendering issues, especially for right to left languages, because some of them don't do it very well. And like we have in our MediaWin Hub, we have UTF-8 compatibility. So make sure that if you are going to export an SRT file, then it does need to be in UTF-8 encoding. So if you don't have UTF encoding, then the subtitling file is just useless. The SRT file is just useless. Now, the editor within tools that you do subtitling have to support the right to left editing. Because if it's only working for left to right languages, then you won't be able to work with Arabic and edit within the system. You will have to bring it from outside or embed it in, and you'll have to do workaround. So it's very important that you choose a tool which has a native support for right to left editing within the system itself. And not only that, when you have a sentence which has a combination of the right to left with an English. So let's say there is one word which is in English, or there's a number which is in English which you need to represent, which is left to right, but the complete sentence is right to left. Sometimes the editors don't actually support both directions, bidirectional stuff in one sentence. So again, this is very important when it comes to the editing editor that you have, which should be able to support. And then you of course have lastly the compatibility problems with different video formats, file formats, and stuff like that. So just make sure what you need is supported within the tool. Now here is an example that I just wanted to show, and this is an export from MediaWin Hub that just to show that the editing that we have done here has Arabic and English. So here you can see numbers which is left to right, and then the whole sentence is right to left. This is just to show the editing. So within the MediaWin Hub, like I'm saying, you have the central repository of files, and from from the customer who uploads the file to production and delivery, everything is secured in a file repository in the system. And you can actually, and I will show you some screenshots going forward, how different languages are visible within the dashboard, and you can allocate different languages for different editors and different roles which can be edited. So this is just a schematic diagram to show that we can actually break down the task and responsibilities for different people in a secure manner on the platform. And here are the overall benefits that you would get by using something like a MediaWin Hub. And I will show you, and Arvan is going to actually show you some demos of how these things are actually done within the system. We will show some screenshots as well as some live demos. And we will take you quickly to show actually how, so I've already spoken about some of these benefits in the previous chapter. For example, look at a platform which gives you a one-stop shop. And in our case, this is true because we are able to export not just SRT files, but also burnt subtitles. So this is to say that any kind of projects within the transcription or subtitling, whatever your need, whether you need a SRT or a DFXP file or any similar format, that can be exported. But we also have an automated way to actually export the video directly by having the subtitle embedded within it in different colors, methods, and we'll show you some of that. You can do multiple languages, and again, I'll show you some screenshots with that. And like I already mentioned that, you have everything in one place. You have UTF-8 compatibility. It has right to left language editing, and the workflow is flexible enough to also allow customer to do online validations. If you don't want to do validation, or the customer says, okay, we have somebody in our languages, we want to be in the workflow to do the validation, they can be part of that workflow, and that can be automated in the system. So, we are just about the time when I have to hand over to Arvan, so I'll just take a minute more and then hand it over to him. So these are some of the actual, live work that we are currently doing on the platform. So if you look at the first video, you can see the name of the languages in the circular fashion on top of it. So you've got French, English, Chinese, Arabic, Vietnamese, Hindi, Bengali, stuff like that, right? So each of these, when you click each of this, I'm the administrator, so I can see all of these circles. But let's say I am the translator who can only access the Vietnamese, then only one circle will be visible for me to access. I cannot access the other languages. And in the next one, this is a specific video which we are going to demo today. You can see English and Arabic are actually already done as a work within this. This is the interface of the editor. As you see, Arabic editing is currently being done on this video, which we are going to show you different things on this video in the next slides. But as you can see, that this is an editor which is actually somebody is currently typing the Arabic in these screens, and this is perfectly real-time supported as a right to left this thing. And as you can see, there are a lot of controls here where you can pause, you can change the start and end timings for the timestamps, and you have complete control over all the editing functions here. This is the screen which shows you how you can select different roles for different people, right? So you can see there is an evaluator who can actually check and evaluate what has been done. There are operators who can actually do the manual editing of the transcript or the subtitling that has been done. And there are green buttons below to add more people in different roles and, change the, the roles and responsibilities when working on the video. So this is a quick dashboard of the access that we work with different people in the workflow. And so over to you, Arvan. I think you can show us some nice work in action, some variations of the subtitling that we bring out in an automated fashion in the burnt subtitles, and then the both forms of Arabic, and if possible, if we have the English version as well.
Thank you, Biraj. Thank you very much for this presentation. I turn on sharing my screen, I think. Do I need your right? Can I turn it on? Yes. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were on this video. So just to show you in action, we have the video here. We have an idea of the video with the size, the duration, etc. And then we can allocate tasks in Arabic, English. And we have 3 levels of intervention. We have an operator, evaluator, and auditor. The evaluator can do some changes. The auditor can just read online and give a green light for publishing. If we go to the Arabic, so where we save, and I'll show you that on this video, which is no music, nice recording, we have a 99% accurate voice recognition. So what our software NW Hub SaaS platform does is to generate the transcription and the timecode, do the cut. And you see here that you can choose how many characters per line, how many lines. It's all easy to customize. You can we make it really easy to work with non-specialists, non-technical people. So you can put bigger if you have if you need to see it bigger, smaller. The same on this side. So we make it really easy and intuitive. So this is a transcription editor. When you move to translation, we have another editor. And once your transcription is accurate and validated, we can help you to generate an automated translation, or you can begin from scratch and do the translation.
Manual translation.
We have several options. I won't go into all the options of the editor, but you can choose the placement. Let me just show you, for example, here. You can choose a placement in the image. And as Biraj said, we can do the encoding, the burnt subtitles. So once you validate with your client can come online. For this very tricky and sometimes time-consuming, and we don't know what is the last version, this is the last version. We have one video file, we have as many languages as you want, and your client can come online and say, okay, I validate. We can add a button, it is validated, and you have the proof that on this day at that time, your client said, it's okay, we can publish it, you can send me the transcoded, the encoded file with a burnt subtitle. I will share this address on the chat right now. We have, as you see, we have several, endless possibilities. So the placement to put a block text with a degree of opacity, to change the color, to change the font, to change the size. So we made we put several examples that we will share with you, and you can download SRT file as Biraj said, it's UTF-8 compliant, so you can import it in your tools, or you can also download some burnt version. We put 3 different burnt versions to show you that the possibilities and the customization is almost endless. So this is in short what we do. I will turn off my screen and share on the chat. Let's see, it's here. So this is, I hope you have the link. So this is the link. It's accessible to all, where you have example of Arabic. Now it's 3:25. If you have questions, you can share some questions in the chat.
When you go on the link, you can actually also download a copy of the SRT to check. And there are screenshots with different options of the background burn transcription that we did. So you get different kinds of formatting from there also.
I just want to conclude on that. We have tools at MediaWen to compare the automation and the validation. On the file, the 1-minute file, the sample file, it was 99% accurate. We just added punctuation. Otherwise, the automated.
The only places where you can see the colors is where some changes were made by the human.
Exactly. So just to tell you that it's really efficient. We've been working for 6 years on that, and we have very secure and effective and optimized the tools to save time, to focus your skills on what is the tuning. I mean, really the quality work.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you, Arvan. So we are waiting for any questions. Please use your interface where it's mentioned as chat. You can type in your questions. We will be able to answer them now. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to put the slide here with our contact details. So that
we have a question about how MT handle proper names, numbers, and acronyms. So numbers is not an issue. Numbers are usually in text, but it depends. But depending on the engines, because depending on the languages you address, we can use one engine or another, or we can benchmark to implement the best engine for this language. So usually numbers are transcripted in text. Acronyms, if there are usual acronyms, the voice recognition is really good, like I don't know, MFI or UN or things like that. This is already in the recognition. For names, if they are known, it's pretty good. If they are not known, if it's not political leaders or actors, then it can be not that good. How do we decide that the validation is 99%? This is the screen I shared. We can do it afterwards when the validation has been humanly made. So you have a sample from a client. We activate the speech recognition. You do the correction. And then we have the tools, as I showed, to compare the automated transcript and the validated transcript. And so we have in that field the WER, the word error rate, which is an objective data. When it's as close as 0, it's the better. And this is a way to compare. So to say we are 99% accurate or 60%. Again, the music, a bad recording, there are many variables that can impact the accuracy.
There is a question which says, can you use glossaries and translation memories?
Yes, we can inject. It's not on the user side. So it's for the moment, it depends. Some engines can improve with glossaries, but it's not on the user side. It's for it's accurate when you have a large number of videos. And then we can, at MediaWen, inject this glossary to improve the voice recognition.
Yeah, basically, it's an administrative function. So so that is not something that is there automated on the platform. So you will need to send files to us as administrators to include it in the translation system. So whenever the machine translation or the editing is done, the glossary and everything will actually kick into the system. But yes, it's not like a CAT tool where you can put it on your own at the moment, at least.
For the price list, I let Braahmam answer. Yeah. We are a software editor partnering with Braahmam. So
yeah. So Nikita, I can send you. I can ask our sales team to connect with you, and I obviously have your contact details. We can get back to you with the details on the pricing. I think there are some people who I think have missed the attending, and some people have come in half the way. And the question is, can we look at the complete video in action? Yes, people who have registered, they will automatically be sent a link to the recorded version of this webinar. I'm not sure in how many days, but I think it does go out, I think within 24 hours after the event is complete. So I think in the next 1 or 2 days, it will automatically kind of send you the recording of this webinar. And you also can, of course, directly contact us as a company. Me or Arvan can be directly contacted on our email IDs as well. Or you can go on our website and also complete our inquiry form, or you can directly write to us at the sales ID as well for a quotation.
And we will send you also in the recording and the link with samples we did for this.
So I just got a note from my team. It's in 72 hours. The recording is sent out in 72 hours.
Okay. If we can add the link with the Arabic samples.
Yes. Yes. Right. Perfect.
Well,
okay. So thank you so much. I think I'm done. So is there anything else you would like to share, or we can just thank our visitors here?
No, just security, one-stop shop, and no limits for big clients for customization. That's
perfect. I have got another message from our team here saying, in case you still have issues with the recording, you can go to the Braahmam website in the webinar section, and you can access the recording from there as well.
Nice.
Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you all in the next webinar as well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Biraj. Thank you all.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.